Ooh, ooh, ah, ah, live, land, grow on Penyo channel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hello, hi Penyo community, Bafenyi, Conquerors. We are more than conquerors. Unleash the power within. It's a feel good now kind of vibe. First timers, awesome. Welcome to Penyo channel. Subscribers and regulars, thank you, grateful, much appreciated. Keep coming and stay. Penyo means victory, for we are victorious. It's a triumphal procession. Today is better than yesterday, and tomorrow will be better than today. The Girl Who Survived Her Mother by Moshitadi Lehlomela. Because no one is perfect, we all have mother wounds in one way or another. Some are worse than others. I believe that some people have personal wounds that they hold on to, that when they have kids, they vent on them and abuse their power. It's a cycle of anger patterns which affect the mind. You end up not thinking clearly, and because you're proud, you think you all knowing, you want to heal yourself, which is impossible in some cases. Acknowledge when you're wrong and you need outside intervention. No man is an island. The opportunities, choices, decisions, and pathways that we take all need our accountability and responsibility. That thing that you don't want to talk about, that's making you angry, let it go accordingly. Summary of the book. It's a 5-part memoir. Part 1, The Undermothered, a tale about generational trauma. Part 2, Getting Wounded. Part 3, The Awakening. Part 4, Reclining. Part 5, The Healing. The book is written for mother wound victims and survivors everywhere. Her grandmother, her mother, and herself are first daughters. They are a line of smart, funny, talented women who survived by hiding and coped through denial. They were not able to visibly stand up for anything, not speaking up and passive in the face of danger, surviving but not thriving. Her grandmother's dissociation turned into dementia. Her mother coped through denial, and Moshitadi coped through chronic dissociation and numbing habits. They stayed too long in dangerous situations and lost themselves. We hide from our guilt by scapegoating our daughters. We hide until we hide from ourselves, doubt our existence, and avoid the pain associated with it. This becomes an inheritance. Moshitadi's mom was doing well at school and had hopes to go to college to become a nurse or teacher. But when she passed matric, her father, Moshitadi's grandpa, refused to take her to college, stating that he would not invest in a girl child who would eventually marry into another surname. At 16, she was pregnant and later got married. She couldn't make peace with her choice, and so she blamed her children for it. That they ruined her life. How she could have been something important in this world, but was stuck and toiling away in the maize field to raise them. She convinced them that she paid a huge price to give them life, and they owe her as a result. There was constantly some mysterious illness that attacking her mother that made Moshitadi live in constant fear of her death. Her mother's body would crumble under the stress of her life. Her face became the face of a battered woman when she faced downwards for a long time. The swelling would last for hours. Her fingers hardened and became painful when she placed them in water for too long. Her teeth were rotting, causing her immense pain, and she had fainting spells. Her father tried many things in hope of helping her from her many ailments. So a lot of people came to the house to supposedly help the family. Muti would be rubbed in small cuts on the family's backs, shoulders, and chest. They were told not to clean the wound for the next 7 days. Her extremist relationship with religion and African spirituality was the reason she stayed away from both as an adult. It was evident to her that more often than not, her parents were being scammed and sent further into distress and poverty. She became good friends with her cousin Linky, who later had to relocate due to family conflicts at the grandmother's home in Limpopo, Mamone, where they stayed together as cousins. On Moshitadi's 7th birthday, her younger brother was born, Kagisho. Before his birth, there were fewer things for which one could be punished. The list consisted of grades, chores, and being too much on her mother's face. With Kagiso came neglect, escalated abuse, and complete emotional abandonment. Her other task was to take care of Kagiso, which means less or no time to play with other kids. If she didn't do this, she would be punished. Her grandmother took care of Kagiso when she was at school, but the moment she came back home, it was her responsibility to feed, clothe, watch, and do the work of keeping him alive. Bullied at home, at school, and on the streets, she went further into isolation. She immersed herself in every piece of literature she could find, old novels, old newspapers, and magazines. When she could not find anything to read, her mind became the playground. She created a peaceful world where she had a semblance of control. This was a pivotal time of her life where she became dissociated, as her therapist would later describe it. Existing in her body was war. It became a battlefield for any adult experiencing frustration. She would have a strong sense of defeat and idealizing death. Her grandmother was supposed to guard her as she was supposed to guard her brother. When her mother was out in the fields, she played alone, diketo. Her grandmother watched for her mistakes so that she would tell her mother when she came back in the evenings. She went to the river to fetch water or to do laundry. There was a high chance of a beating if her mother thought she took too long to get back home. Moshitadi hated taking care of her brother, Kagiso, whilst Tumi, her older brother, hated having to take care of Moshitadi and Kagiso. At 9, she was taken to an initiation school, never informed beforehand. She was told to pack and she left with her grandmother, who took her to a bunch of other girls and an elderly woman for her to figure out what was happening. It was during school holidays in December. A lot changed when Moshitadi's mom converted to Christianity. Misogyny and patriarchal order remained central. One Tuesday afternoon, her mother told Moshitadi to wear a longer dress and scarf on her head because people from a church were coming to pray for them. She had questions and was eager to ask her mother what was happening. Later that night, after the people had left, her mother dismissed her questions and told her to stop being annoying. That was her approach to all of Moshitadi's questions moving forward, which would compound the trauma she had about the experience in the church. During life orientation class at school, the teacher touched on the topic of menstruation. Her mother had pets. She stole them from her when she started her periods. Then one day her mother called an elderly woman from church to talk to Moshitadi. When she realized what was happening with her, the conversation felt like yet another opportunity for her mother to embarrass and humiliate her. Another opportunity to showcase how dumb Moshitadi was about everything. This was the nature of her relationship with her mother. She didn't talk to her, but talked about her. Each time she needed to talk to her, another person who was already on her side would be present. She had developed a fear of saying things to her mother that would later be used against her. She was once again called to a meeting because someone saw her talking to a boy, or because she had her hair out and had styled it, or because someone saw her wearing earrings. It was a never-ending battle of being policed for minor things and having to defend herself against the scrutiny of the elders. Eventually, she became an inward-focused person. She didn't share her feelings or thoughts and didn't allow herself to show weakness through crying. She became even more lonely, even more isolated. She learned quicker than other pupils at school and enjoyed school. She quickly became the golden child in most of her classes. She was celebrated at school, but at home it was a different story. Throughout primary and secondary school years, Moshitadi's mother was still tortured and grieving the dreams she had put to rest to raise her kids. It seemed her daughter's accolades at school were her biggest trigger. As a result, she met her achievements and excitements about anything to do with her with animosity. That also kept her away from any parents' meeting at school or activities that called for parents' attendance. When she was in grade 7, she got her mid-year report. She had moved from first position to second position, something that hadn't happened since the dawn of her school years. She became a laughingstock of her family as they reminded her that she had regressed. Zibinki. knowing too much. Her mother didn't affirm her beauty. She would say, "You think you are beautiful. Who is telling you you are beautiful?" Her mother and brothers would tease her about her forehead and teeth. Moshitadi's self-esteem tanked further, and she developed a bad posture and an unwelcoming facial expression that was born out of her fear of smiling. In the same breath, she was facing animosity from a mother who was convinced she thought she was beautiful. Religion became her mother's weapon. She had scriptures she would recite that condemned beauty and use them to take jabs at her self-esteem. She was not allowed to do anything to her hair other than cut it short. She was to wear a hat after school and couldn't wear pants or any revealing clothing. She started counting years. 4 years to go until she could go away to university. 4 years to go until she would be free from church. 4 years to go until she could be herself. She thought if she could do well in school and get a bursary, then eventually she would be free. The prospect of this freedom became her motivation. She did her best to keep her head down and do her best. She registered at UNISA for a diploma in information technology, but she hated everything about IT, especially programming. She did it because her parents said so. By May that year, her mother managed to spend her entire allowance, which the scholarship had paid in full at the beginning of the year. She was broke, hardly had food to eat or money for lunch. Her mother spent the money on clothes. She relied on her friends for lunch. When she complained, her mother laughed at her and dismissed her. She moved to VUT to study civil engineering. Mistrust, shame and loneliness led to her numbing through alcohol. She had fainting spells and blackouts during tests and exams. The drinking was not helping. One day she cried and remembered that there was a psychologist on campus. She went for therapy. She had to learn to stand up for herself against her parents and her mother taking her money, making her feel guilty when she refused to give it to her. She would say she holds her blessings. Her father would stand by her mother's side and turn the whole family against Moshitadi when she was standing up for herself. Eventually, she permanently moved out of home, learned to love and celebrate herself. She got a venue, invited few of her friends and sisters, dressed up and celebrated her 30th birthday. She realized her childhood dreams that she had buried and forgotten about. Her coaching work came to her like a calling. It's our individual responsibility to make things possible through personal healing. Thanks for watching. Kindly like, share, comment and subscribe. Be the light and keep shining. Heart to heart, from my heart to yours, it's all love. La 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 la. Heart to heart, from my heart to yours, it's all love. Thanks for watching Penyo channel. Take care, love, joy, peace, faith, hope. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la la la.